Alright, what's up, you guys? Welcome to another SHARKNEWZ XTRA episode. As today, I wanted to go over something that is kind of a bittersweet reveal because if there's any toy line or toy brand that I've collected growing up, especially for modern era action figures, the one that probably gave me the most stress would have to be, or even anxiety, would have to be the NECA TMNT movie line. Now, I know that there's a lot of other Ninja Turtles figures out there, especially involving the 1990 movie, but this will focus specifically on the NECA figures in terms of the 1990 movie, the first one for those who recall being the greatest Ninja Turtles movie. And the hype of it all, the stress, the adrenaline, just the heartache of trying to find these figures in store was probably the hardest thing ever. However, fast forwarding into the future, we've had many variations, many reveals and releases, and at this point of making this video, I will do a complete rundown of every single NECA Ninja Turtles movie figure released, even if that's 1, 2, and 3. But for in this particular video, I wanted to focus on what NECA just announced that's coming soon, which is more Ninja Turtle figures, and at this point you can kind of question how many more do they have left in stock for them to do. They've already done so many deep cuts, they've done so many variants, they've done so many re-releases and reissues, but what was the more different thing about this particular release? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. So for those that are new or for those that are watching this video, keep in mind I will do a full breakdown of every single figure so far, but for now, we're just going to focus on the main 4 turtles. So by going to the folder here that I have titled the Ninja Turtles, even for 4-packs, singles, and 2-packs, etc., let's kind of go in order of what we've seen so far in the Ninja Turtles line. And we'll briefly just go over everything in leading up to the main reveal. So we know that GameStop initially had the Ninja Turtles figures on their shelves or even in their stores in stock or whatever. So they each had individual releases. Each figure came with a slice of pizza, their signature weapons, and of course they are the most greatest detailed figures of all time. They are probably in my top 5 favorite figures in my collection. I cannot emphasize and just even contemplate how hard it was to get these figures, driving from GameStop to GameStop to GameStop trying to find these figures. Even if I pre-ordered them, still just the thrill of the hunt was what was made it more exciting. So again, fantastic figures. These were like the highest of the high, like the highest momentum of figures you can really get for. So of course we had Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Donatello. So good. They're good figures, right? Of course they are. Then for those who missed out on those specific single figures, NECA eventually released 2-packs. Now within the 2-packs, we now had re-releases of the same exact figures, except now we had 2 figures in one single pack. So we had Leonardo and Donatello in 1 pack. And the thing that's different about this particular 2-packs is that they added more dynamic poses for the bandanas. They had more, I guess, more, I don't want to say more accessories, but really just the same exact figures, same weapons, just the bandanas. They had more of the double-sided that straps that hovers over both shoulders instead of the single bandanas that go over either the right side or the left side. But you're technically getting the same exact figure again. So for those who missed out the first time, you had the chances to get these 2-packs, right? So that's totally fine. So here we have Michelangelo that came with Raphael. Again, fantastic 2-packs, can't go wrong. And of course, like I mentioned, you're getting more kind of for your, well, depending on the price point at that time. But again, the bandanas were kind of like the make or break of it. So they're pretty good. I mean, again, for those who missed out, sure, fine. Then to kind of backtrack a slight bit, if you were at one of the Comic Cons If you missed out on the single versions from GameStop, NECA eventually gave us a VHS um, 4 pack, which means if you weren't able to get your NECA 2 packs, or even if you weren't able to get the single releases, why not just get all 4 of them in one bundle? Now, these were probably more harder to get just because the price point, and on top of that, they came in the VHS packaging, which was completely unique and awesome at the same time. You same got the pizzas, the weapons, accessories, and then the alternate bandanas. Now, keep in mind, uh, these are still the single-sided bandanas. These are not the double bandanas that you get, or the headbands or whatever, the masks that hover over both shoulders. These are still the single ones. So the 2 packs at this point are probably the most definitive versions you can get. So for someone that was a completionist, then you were kind of getting screwed over. But if you liked, you're basically paying for the packaging at this point. And keep in mind, a lot of times Michelangelo's eyes were so wonky, and that's what pissed me off because I tried to find the most correct eyes for Michelangelo because NECA sometimes has wonky eyes on their figures. But either way, they were good for what they were. Now, it wasn't too long ago that NECA eventually released the accessory set. So keep in mind of this. The accessory set basically had the baby turtles, all these props from the movie. If you're a diehard fan, you would know exactly where a lot of these props were used or stuff. You have an alternate hand for Michelangelo when he does the nunchuck. You have Shredder's destroyed helmet, the ooze canister, the straw hat that Donatello wears at the farm, the Bleecker Street sign, etc., etc. But the biggest takeaway here is that if you were already multiplying your turtles, you now had these 4 alternate head sculpts because we know that in the movie they had such great, fantastic, and 90s animatronic facial expressions that the ones that came out prior, the ones we just talked about, they were all pissed and mean looking. These are more of the happier turtles, and the biggest and the best one we have here is Michelangelo. That is the greatest Michelangelo head sculpt I've seen on a Ninja Turtles figure. He looks great. I mean, he's just smiling, and everything else about it is awesome. So now, if you already had multiple turtles, what's the better way to go about this? Is now you have alternate head sculpts to go about your, to enjoy your turtle line. Now, for me, I bought the GameStop versions, and then I also bought the 2 packs. Now, the 2 packs, I removed those head sculpts. I bought these 4 individual heads off of eBay, and now I use these new head sculpts on my 2 pack turtles, and I basically called it a day because I was like, I don't need anything else. I think I'm good. So keep in mind with these head sculpts, we'll come back to this in a little bit. Not too long ago, NECA basically did a 35th anniversary frickin' 5 pack. Here we go. All right. Whoops. Give me 1 second here. Uh, shoot. Okay. So hear me out. So now, how does this become better than the 4 pack that you had? Now they gave you the bandanas that are hovering over both shoulders instead of 2 variations of the other bandanas where they hover over the left or right. So now you don't get the other version where it's hovering over one of the other shoulders. You're only getting one of those, but now you're getting the other one of the both double bandanas, and I think they look a bit longer. I'm not sure. Alternate hands, same exact weapons, the pizzas, and now you're getting half-bitten pizzas. Now the thing that makes it more enticing is that now you're getting the Spirit Splinter, which we'll talk about in a future video. The Spirit Splinter is probably one of the rarest Ninja Turtles NECA figures to date because it's one of the hardest ones to find. So you have the campfire scene that the turtles were crying in the emotional best scene where they're reminiscing about their father. You got the turtles when they're doing the marshmallows, and these figures just they come with the same exact head sculpts, same bodies and everything. And now you're getting and Splinter was released in a single pack. Again, we'll go over all this later. But Splinter was released in a single pack. He did come back in a 2-pack with Shredder, and now the Spirit Splinter, which was a solo GameStop release, is now in a 5-pack with the 4 turtles. So now you can get these 4 turtles again, but now you have Splinter, the Spirit version. So isn't that freaking crazy? Absolutely bonkers, if you ask me. So now this is where it gets interesting. I need to backtrack real quickly. If we take a look at this 2-pack right here, which was released some time ago, we had Casey Jones and Raphael. Okay. This Raphael came in a 2-pack with Casey Jones, and Casey Jones was the highlight here because if you already had the original Raphael, you're golden. This Raphael came in a trench coat with his hat, his fedora. Now the thing is, it's called Raphael in Disguise. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know that this is what he wore to go watch the movie, and this is how he saved April. Now, if you already had the GameStop versions, the 2-packs, or even the 4-pack, now if you wanted Raphael in his trench coat, holy crap, you're just basically army building turtles at this point. Okay, but the trench coat was supposed to be the incentive of this 2-pack, unless you already had so many variants of Raphael. But the highlight here was really Casey Jones. So keep in mind of that. Going back to the 4-pack, what NECA ended up doing not too long ago, which was earlier today, they announced another 35th anniversary line of figures. So what did they do? They announced another single release versions of each Ninja Turtle character, and you got new packaging art, which is from the movie. It's awesome. But here is the setback of this. Take a look at Raphael. Do you notice anything here? This Raphael is the same exact figure that we've seen the past 4 or 5 times of the releases, yet now he comes with the signature trench coat, the hat, the backpack, but the head sculpt is not the mean head sculpt. This head sculpt is the head sculpt that you saw in the accessory pack, the one that I bought individually, the one that came in that box set, the accessory box set. And now you're getting, and this one comes with the double bandanas and the side bandana, same weapons, the bat, the DGRI, newspaper, etc. So now you're basically paying probably around the $40 range to get the same figure for the 5th or 6th time, with the trench coat that you probably already had, with the head sculpt that you probably already had from the accessory set, and you're just paying for the title of the 35th anniversary. Absolutely insane marketing from the Ninja Turtles team by NECA. Unbelievable. If we look at Michelangelo, look at this. Same head sculpt that we saw in the accessory pack, weapons, the same turtle wax, the chips from the accessory set, the panda, teddy bear. He just has the new accessory set. Now, I could be wrong. I'm sure that they might have updated the paint just a little bit more compared to the original first releases, but if they're the same, then they are most likely the same. But damn, that is freaking clever as hell. Does this look familiar? Leonardo, again, accessory box set, new head sculpt, not the meaner one. We had pizzas, the hands, weapons, etc. But look, what's making Leonardo the incentive here is that you have the red flame fire effects from the campfire, whereas the 5-pack with Splinter Spirit was the blue flames. Now you have red flames. Wow. Very impressive on NECA's part. We look at Donatello. Remember what I told you? We got the marshmallows again, the straw hat from the farm scene, pork rinds, and then he's got the creepier face, but that's what was in the accessory pack. So once again, if you weren't paying attention, those head sculpts on the new anniversary packs are the same exact head sculpts that you see right here. Farm hat, turtle wax, pork rinds, etc. The teddy bear with Michelangelo, etc. Unfreaking believable. That is genius marketing from the Turtles team. So that's basically all I wanted to share. But like I mentioned before, stay tuned on the channel because I will go over all these other Ninja Turtles figures from the movie line and kind of go over it. And just to quickly show you guys what I was talking about, see, we have multiple versions of Splinter that we've seen here, but the real version that you guys were looking at was the Spirit Splinter, which came in that 5-pack, which is the hardest ones to find. But anyways, that is wild. And then look how many versions of Leonardo. There was already another version of Leonardo that came with Shredder, and this one had a bloodier facial expression. So how many more Leonardos do you need? Yeah, and we'll talk about the Shredder variations at another time, but so many variants of turtles out there. Except I think Michelangelo is the only one that had the least amount of re-releases. So other than that, let me know in the comments below what you think about these new figures, and do you think NECA has hit a standstill? Because let's say this could be a bittersweet ending to the Turtles. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode.